Hi, I'm Michael Yardney, and with the election over, life moves on. So today I'd like to share with you a memory from when I was still a novice investor. And one of my early mentors taught me the four most dangerous words a property investor could say. And they were, "This time it's different." Now, our update today is being brought to you by my Understand What's Really Happening in Our Property Markets seminars that we're conducting around Australia in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and Perth. You can find out more about it if you click the link below. But today I actually want to explain that unfortunately in my early days of investing, I ignored the advice of my mentor. And I guess it was to my detriment because I found out that history does repeat itself. I guess the best way of explaining what I'm on about is to just look back earlier this year. As many of our property markets boomed, and there were two extreme opinions. One group was suggesting that we're in for a long, long boom, and there was another group who was suggesting that the property markets would implode. At the time, I made it clear that my view was that the extremists in both directions were going to end up being wrong. Why? Because history does repeat itself. And having invested, and some would say reasonably successfully for over 35 years, I've learned some lessons. Probably the most important lesson I've learned is never to get too carried away when the market's booming, and never to get too enchanted during property slumps. You see, letting your emotions drive your investments is a surefire way to disaster. To ensure that you don't get caught up by our changes, all these changes currently happening in our markets, let's look at the 5 big lessons that I've learned over the years. Lesson number 1, booms don't last forever. You see, during a boom everyone's optimistic, they expect good times to last forever. Just like we tend to lose our confidence during a downturn. Our property markets behave cyclically, and each boom sets us up for the next downturn, just as each downturn paves the way for the next boom. Let's face it, while the general economic news is still generally positive today, we know that over the next few years the buoyant market conditions are going to be followed by another property bust. But that will be followed by another property boom. Just look how the markets have performed over the last 18 months. Some areas have boomed and they're now slowing down, and other areas have languished in the market, haven't they? So going forward over the next decade, we're going to have another recession. Now, I'm not sure when it's going to be, but we have one every 7 to 10 years, so we will. And most likely we're going to have another depression one day, because history repeats itself. The lesson from all this is that even those who are taking advantage of our booming markets, get prepared for the next phase of the property cycle. During the last cycle, most investors didn't really have their downsides covered, or their upsides maximised. Lesson number 2. Beware of the doomsayers. You see, as long as I've been investing, I remember hearing people with excuses why property values would plummet. However, throughout that time, well-located properties have doubled in value every 7 to 10 years. And in fact, even a bit faster than that if you bought the right property and added some value to it. But fear is a really powerful emotion, and one that the media uses to grab our attention. Sadly, some people miss out on the opportunity to develop their own financial independence because they listen to the messages of those who want to deflate the financial dreams of their fellow Australians. Big lesson number 3. Follow a system. You see, smart investors follow a system, and that takes the emotion out of their decisions, and it ensures they don't speculate. Now, it may be boring, but you know what? It's profitable. Let's be honest. Almost anyone can make money during a property boom. I guess it's because the market covers up mistakes. But many investors without a system found themselves in financial trouble when the market turned. I remember Warren Buffett, who said it so succinctly, "You only find out who's swimming naked when the tide goes out." In other words, if you aren't following a system, one that works in all market conditions, you're going to be caught naked when the market changes. And it is changing at the moment, isn't it? Now, if you prefer to have consistent profits and reduced risks, my suggestion to you is to follow a proven system. Make your investing boring so that the rest of your life can be exciting. Now, at my upcoming Understand What's Really Happening to Our Property Markets seminars that I'm currently conducting around Australia, I'm going to outline the proven system that I'm using. I'm going to do it step by step. So if you haven't already booked in, please click on the link below and find out about our top faculty of speakers and reserve your place now. Lesson number 4. Get rich quick usually means get poor quick. You see, real estate's a long-term investment. Yet some investors chase, I guess, what I'd call the fast money. Look, you've probably met people like that. They look for that deal. That deal is going to make them fabulously rich. When you come across them again a year or two later, they're usually no better off financially, and they're still talking about that next deal, that one that's going to make them rich. They've often been influenced by the latest get-rich-quick artist with a great story about how you can join them becoming stupendously wealthy. Their stories often sound so compelling they're hard to resist, and they often pander to the wishes of people who'd like to give up their day job to be involved in property full-time. But in reality, it takes most people many, many years to accumulate sufficient assets to do this. Patience is an investment virtue. I remember Warren Buffett also got it right when he said wealth is the transfer of money from the impatient to the patient. But currently there's lots of people chasing properties in America, options, all sorts of get-rich-quick, buy properties with no money down type schemes. I've seen them come and go. I wish it would work. If they would, I'd recommend them to you. They don't. Lesson number 5. It's about property. You're in the business of property investment, yet during the last boom, many investors forgot the age-old fundamentals of buying the best property they could afford in the best proven locations. Instead, they got sidetracked. They went off on these fancy finance or tax strategies, and some lost out. Smart investors do it differently. They make educated investment decisions based on research and buy a property below its intrinsic value in an area that has always had above average long-term capital growth, and then they've added value to their investments through renovations, development to create some of their own extra capital gain. Now, these are just 5 of the many lessons that I've learned over the years. I'm going to be sharing more with you, as well as giving you my perspective on what's really happening in our property markets at my upcoming Understand What's Really Happening to Our Property Market seminars. And I'm conducting those with property finance strategist Rolf Schaefer and property tax experts Ed, Chan and Ken Race. So please click on the link below to find out more and reserve your place. You see, we won't be conducting a similar round of seminars like these until well into next year. And when you join us, you're going to discover our unbiased research, the sort of stuff that sophisticated investors have been using to profit in good times and in bad. The truth is, while we've got all these changing markets at the moment, a small group of informed investors are happy, they're smiling, they're excited, because they know that while the majority of Australians are going to wait for the confusion to clear, fortunes are going to be made by those who really understand what's going on in our property markets. Now, even if you've been to one of my seminars before, please join us, because we've got no properties to sell, so we're giving you unbiased facts and the perspective that you can only get from somebody who's been in the market for more than 30 years. So click down below and find out all about them and come and join us. Now, between now and then, I'm going to keep you up to date on what's happening in the markets, and I do this through my regular blogs. And there's also, so if you just click on the link up above there and keep up to date with my blog, you can subscribe to it so that you can put something up there, I guess, almost every day. And it's also probably appropriate to remind you that in changing times like we're experiencing, no one can quite help you like the unbiased, award-winning team of property investment strategists at Metropole. Remember, they've got no properties to sell, so the information they can give you, the advice they can give you is independent, it's unbiased. So join us at a free property briefing in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, or with our associates in Perth. Click on the other link down below and you can come along to one of these briefings in your capital city. So as I said, in between these sessions, keep up to date by coming to my blog every day, or you can follow me on Twitter. I look forward to sending you my next property update in 2 weeks' time.